Oh, the RX2, what a brilliant product, one of my favourite products. Only thing is, I really wish it had a bigger jog wheel. Yeah, and maybe a few more effects on the mixer would be nice as well. And a little bit more connectivity. Yeah, that would be really, really good. If only. And what a MIDI controller. 4 channels, full-size jog wheels, the XDJ-XZ. Gotta love this bit of kit. But I wish I could plug a USB stick into it and have a screen. That would just be so much better. If only. DJM 900 Nexus 2. I could never part with mine. I think I'd part with my wife and kids first. Oh, this the ultimate mixer in my mind. Couldn't part with it. Couldn't part with it. If only there was an all-in-one system that could just tick all them boxes. Right. It might be that my dreams have come true. Maybe they have come true. Oh wow, what have we got here? Is this a hot new product from Pioneer? It seems so. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first look at the Pioneer XDJ-XZ. Full-size jog wheels, 4 channels, screen in the middle. Exciting stuff. Right, this is our first look at the brand new XDJ-XZ. On face value, it looks like we've got full-size jog wheels, nice long pitch faders, we've got a 4-channel mixer, and we've got 2 microphones with 3-band EQ, and we've got loads of features from the DJM 900 Nexus 2 as well. We've got USB, but let me tell you, USB is only on 2 channels. But it is a 4-channel controller for Rekordbox DJ, and this item works with Serato as well. This is a future update. It currently is not ready for Serato, but it will be ready for Serato 2020 January. So it's imminent, and it's definitely happening because it's got Serato written on it. What we'll do is let's get this over there, get it turned on, and we'll dive in a little bit deeper. Let's have a quick look at the back of the unit and let's check all these connections out. Firstly, we've got ProLink. ProLink is where we can connect our computer and we can transfer files from Rekordbox straight onto this unit. We'll cover that in a little bit. So we've got 3 connections on RJ45. One's channel 4, one is channel 3, and this is an extension. Coming to here, we've got a USB. This will be for when you connect your computer in to use with Rekordbox DJ or Serato to use for DVS and things like that. We've got a booth out on 1/4-inch jacks, and our master out is on XLR, and we've got a master 2 out on RCA as well. We've got a send on 1/4-inch jacks also, which I believe we could return in to the auxiliary. More about that later. Here is our input section. Channel 4, we've got phono or we've got line, so we can put turntables into this, so it will work with DVS, and we've got our grounding screw just here. Channel 3, again phono or line, and again just coming back to here we have this auxiliary input. We've got our mic channels, which are on XLR and 1/4-inch jack combination connections. Mic 1 and mic 2, and then we've got our electric in on IEC, which I think is great, so we don't have to have any separate power bricks because I'm always losing them. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this video down into sections. First section we're going to look at is the mixer. Right, this mixer is a 4-channel mixer. 2 channels are dedicated to the USB, where we can plug USB sticks in, so channel 1 and 2, and then we've got 3 and 4 where we could plug turntables in, CDJs in. We could use things like DVS with Rekordbox DJ, and if you were using this as a MIDI controller, this would all 4 channels would work as 4 decks on Rekordbox DJ. Right, now this mixer inherits a lot of the DNA from the DJM 900 Nexus 2. Now where the DNA is brought across is obviously we've got our colour effects right across the middle, and we've got 6 colour effects here, and we've got a parameter knob. The parameter will change the depth and the level and the parameter of that effect that you select. So if you have a filter and you want the filter just to be a bit smoother, you can pull it back, or if you want it to be wild, you can have it on full whack. And again, like if we've got the digital noise and you think the digital noise is a little bit loud, if you had that selected, you could turn it down or you could turn it up. This is from the Nexus 2 900, and again, each one of the channels has got a colour effect knob. Coming to the beat effect section, again, this is just like the Nexus 2. We've got our X pad, we've got our beat select, and then we've got our frequency effect as well. So if you just wanted to affect the mid-range, you would do by selecting the mid-range, or if you just wanted to use the high and the low, you could. These effects here, exactly the same effects as we got on the Nexus 2 900, and of course we can select where these effects are going to affect. And further down this strip here, we've got our time adjust, and we've got our level depth, and we've got the effect on and off button. This you will see on nearly all of the DJM range of mixers, including the Nexus 2 900. I think the way that they've incorporated this into an all-in-one unit is just an absolute brilliant idea. Coming down at the bottom, we've got a crossfader, and we've got our crossfader select, and you can adjust the curve on the crossfader via the menu up at the top, which we'll go into shortly. Just going up into the top corner here, this is our channel 4 input. So if we had a laptop plugged in, we could flick it across to here. We've got a line, and we've got phono, so we can plug decks in as well. Just moving around to the other side, we've got the same on this side for channel 3, and then we've got our aux. So this is our auxiliary in, and we've got a volume on there, and we can choose whether that is a line or off or portable. Just finishing off the sections on the mixer, we've got our headphones, we've got our level, and we've got our mix, so we can have the Q or the master. And the headphone section is on the front, and that is on 1/4 inch jack or 3.5 mini jack as well. So that's just about all there is to cover on the mixer section. But like I say, what I really like about this mixer is it brings in a lot of the features that you find on the DJM range, and especially the DJM 900 Nexus. Let's now have a look at the deck section. We've got a full-size CDJ jog wheel, and we've got jog adjust here, so we can have it nice and light, or we can tighten it up and it'll become much tighter. Also, we've got our pitch fade, nice and long, and works exactly how a CDJ would. Coming up to the top section, we've got our loop in and out, and we've got our 4-beat instant loop. So if you press that button, you'll get an instant loop. You've got your slip button as well. We've got a reverse. We've got a shift function as well, which will be coming very handy when you are using Record Box DJ. We've got our sync and master buttons, which also double up as instant doubles. We've got our jog mode, where we can have it how it'll, when you end the track, where it'll stop really quickly, or it will come to a slow, just like you would if you turn the power off on a turntable. We've got our cue and play and pause buttons here, and track select and track search. And then we've got our pad section. These are proper pads, they're not clicky buttons. And for the pad section, we have got hot cues, beat loop, slip loop, and beat jump. This really does have a CDJ feel about it, with the added pads. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'd rather work on here than on a CDJ, because there's the pads and the cue points for me in our CDJ are usually up the side here. I actually prefer them in front of me, so I think this is a great improvement. One thing I will say about the layout of both of these sections that we've covered so far is it feels like stepping up to a mixer with a CDJ built into it. It just, everything is familiar and it's in the right place. That's one thing that I do find that Pioneer seem to get right every time. They ergonomically lay everything out exactly how I would expect it. If you've played on a CDJ before, or if you've been on a DJM, you could go from a DJM 450, a DJM 750 Mark II to a 900 Nexus 2 to go over to this one, and you're going to feel right at home. Coming to the next section, it's just above the jog wheel. on the left hand side, as I'm stood facing the decks, we've got our microphone section. We've got 2 mics with 3-band EQ, which I think is absolutely brilliant. I think it's always been lacking. I think I prefer to have 3-band EQ on a microphone. I think that's a great plus for the mobile DJ as well, and the performance DJs that are going to have like MCs on and things like that. Another feature that I've added in is the feedback reducer. Again, that'll come in really good for when you've got people like MCs and it becomes more of a performance. If you're having any feedback issues with microphones, you will be able to use this feedback reducer. I think that's a great feature. And we've got a talk over button as well. The talk over button, what that'll do is it'll push the music down, and then you'll be able to speak, and then it'll bring it back up. If we go to the right hand side deck and go up to the top section, what we've got here is we've got our master, we've got our cue for the master as well, so if you want a cue in your headphones what's going out the master output, and we've got our booth out and booth level with 3-band EQ on it as well, and we've got our master level outputs. That's probably the only thing I would say on the mixer that doesn't feel like it's in the normal place, but I think the way that the unit's designed, they've had to squeeze it in somewhere, but I don't see an issue. It will work perfectly. Coming across to this side, we've got USB 1 and USB 2, and then we've got our recording section as well, because you can record your mix back to USB number 2, and there's a track mark, so if you want to mark it as well for the different tracks that you're going through your mix, you can do. You can swap in and out, and obviously you can actually play and record from USB 2. The next thing I'd like to show you is how we can use the ProLink. And remember when we were showing you the back of the unit, we had those RJ45 connections for the ProLink. Now currently I've got plugged in a XDJ-1000 Mark II. We've got our new XDJ-XZ in the middle, and over at the other end we have got a CDJ-2000 Nexus 2. We've connected them in, so we've got an Ethernet cable coming out the back of that CDJ into the back of that unit, and then another one coming out of the unit into the back of there. Now let me show you how I can now browse the USB stick that is in that XDJ. I can now browse and play on this XDJ, but then also the USB stick that's in this all-in-one unit can also be played on that CDJ at the end, and our XDJ. I'll try and explain that. It might mess with your mind a bit. Right, so currently we've got one XDJ-XZ, and we've got an XDJ-1000, and we've got a CDJ-2000 plugged in, all together, all linked up. Now we know we've got one USB stick in our all-in-one unit, and I can browse that USB stick and all of the album, track, playlist, histories, and just the usual ways you would scroll through to find what you're looking for on that USB stick. But then when I go to the link and press the link button here, it actually shows me the USB stick that is plugged into the XDJ. So now if I wanted to load a track from the XDJ that's on the USB stick on that XDJ, I can go through the playlists, select where I want to be, and then I can load that to any deck I want to on the XDJ-XZ. Now we're looking at the screen on the XDJ-1000 Mark II, and I've got a USB stick plugged into it, and of course I can browse that stick. So if I wanted to select that stick, I'd go into there, and there is all the playlists there, and I can select just as you normally would. But say I wanted to have a look at the stick that's plugged into the new XDJ-XZ. What I would do is I would press the link button, and straight away you can see that is the USB stick that is plugged into there, and I can load any of those tracks in and they will work. So now coming across to my CDJ-2000 that hasn't got a USB stick plugged into it. There's nothing plugged into this unit. Pressing USB, no USB. But we've got USB sticks plugged into other items in the chain. So if I was to go link, I've got USB, and then we've got SD. I'm not sure why it's picking it up as an SD, but I can assure you we haven't got an SD card plugged into here. I'm sure it's just a little firmware update. But basically, that there is the stick that's plugged into the XDJ, because I just know what tracks are on there. And then if I was to go back again and select this SD, I know that this is the USB stick that is plugged into the XDJ-XZ. Right, let's just go through that again, because it did mess with my mind a little bit. Right then, we've got an Ethernet cable going into there and an Ethernet cable coming out of there into there. We've got one USB stick in our XDJ, we've got another USB stick in our XDJ-XZ, and we've got no USB sticks in our CDJ 2000 Nexus 2. I can read from any player and any source any stick that's plugged in. So if we had another USB stick stuck in here, we'd be able to read that on there, I'd be able to read it on there, I'd be able to read it on there. So this is all integrated. So I know many people may be a little bit disappointed that this isn't a 4-channel standalone unit. It is just a 2-channel standalone unit that works off its USBs. But start adding other products into this and wow, it all comes together. In essence, what I've got here now is a 4-deck setup, standalone. This unit has got loads and loads of other features. It's going to work as a MIDI controller really well as well. It's going to work with Serato, it works with DVS. We like the mixer in the middle, and we like these jog wheels. Right, so if you were looking for a performance video, that wasn't it. I just wanted to have a look at it. I wanted to get it out and see what I thought of it as well. Yeah, there's going to be those that are a little bit disappointed that this isn't a 4-channel standalone all-in-one system. But when you start to add up what you're getting here, it really does sort of add bang for your buck. When you bear in mind that what you're getting is a 4-channel mixer, 2 USB players, and a 4-channel MIDI controller that will work with Serato and it'll work with Rekordbox, I think when you start to do the sums, it really adds up. Because let's face it, one DJM 900 Nexus mixer, Nexus 2, and 4 players, CDJ 2000 Nexuses, that's going to be about a £9.5 exercise. But just forgetting about this player here a second, if we had one of these with 2 of the XDJ 1000s, you know, the numbers change drastically. In fact, I think we're looking at about 4,150, give or take a bit of wheeling and dealing. So when you add that up, this is half the price. So you could have 4 USB players with a DJM setup that's more than capable of doing any club, any bar, or any situation. I think it adds a lot of bang for its buck. I think this is going to work really well with Rekordbox DJ. I know I've probably only shown the USB side of things, but there's going to be loads and loads of videos out there. I haven't shown how the cue points and loop points work. I imagine, you know, there's going to be lots of videos out there. You know, it isn't new. You know, we haven't seen any new features with this, but we've never seen an item with so many features in one unit. So for all I'm saying, there is no new features. We've seen all these things before, but we haven't seen it in a unit on its own at this price point. I think it makes it a really interesting product. Other things I'd like to tell you as well is there is a flight case available. I'd like to say thank you to Swan Flight, who had us a flight case made up within hours. So we've got a flight case here for it, and we are selling them on the website as well. If you want some more information on the pricing for this product, click the link in the description to our video and it will take you through to our website. If you've got any questions, please get in touch. We have got this on demo in store now, and we're going to leave this on demo like this. So we're going to leave the CDJ plugged in so we can see the link features, and we're going to leave the XDJ plugged in as well. So this setup, as we see it, we're going to leave this in the shop because I think it's a really cool setup, and I think this is where this unit really opens itself up to be a really pro piece of kit at a price point. So that's my first look at the XDJ-XZ. It's Mike at Phase 1. Click the link. Oh, and if you like our videos, we do loads of reviews. Subscribe.